Today I'm going to be teaching you how to draw Marvel's Shang-Chi. Let's get started. We want to start out by mapping out the pose and basic forms. I do this by marking out a line for the spine and then a circular kind of shape for the rib cage. Then I add in the hips and the head as well as the shoulders, and now I start roughing out the limbs. Once we've got all that out of the way, we're going to be moving on to adding some musculature and more form to the character. Now, as he does wear quite loose clothing for the majority of his suit, it's going to be a bit less important for most of the body to have all the muscles fully formed out, but it does help to get all the anatomy correct. Now we're going to be moving on to adding in the clothing and like facial features and any of the details that we need. Just interrupting here to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it if you could, and it would also help us reach 320 subs. So if you do like this kind of content, then make sure to do that, and let's get back to the video. Once I've done all of this and refined the sketch a little bit more, I'm going to be moving on to inking. Now if you want to stick to pencil or use any other medium, then feel free to do that. But I'm going to be using the Micron 005, 05 and 03 for this. During this stage you want to make sure that all the lines are fairly light so we can add in line weights later on and add a bit more depth and shadow. Now we've got the character all inked, we're going to be moving on to shadowing. Now you want to think of every single form as an individual object rather than part of the whole thing. So you're going to be thinking of the major muscles and thinking of them as more like spherical shapes or ovals, and shape them as if they were individual shapes, and that really helps with giving more 3D look and overall just improves the character. With the folds you want to make sure you're using rather straight jagged lines and also varying in line weight. So if it's towards a point of tension you want the line to be slightly thicker and then branch out and get thinner, and then where the clothing sags more that will create more of a shadow, so it'll be thicker there as well. Now finally we're going to be moving on to rendering. This is where you add all of the line shading, cross hatching, any of that, as well as some extra details. So for the really fine wrinkles you want to add really small, almost dot-like line shading, so you're still able to make out what it's supposed to look like rather than just having lines all over the place, which looks quite messy, and I've definitely done this in the past. So make sure you're just using really small lines for the smaller areas and larger lines for the larger areas. What you could also do is create a grid as a sort of overlay around all of the forms, so all of your line shading can follow the grid to make the muscles pop out a little bit more and all the wrinkles look correct. Now you're done, I've added a little bit of colour onto mine, as you can see. Again, you could change this up, you could do it completely in pencil, you could paint it, you could do it all digital if you wanted to, but that is going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe so we can reach 320 subs. If you want to see any other tutorials, then make sure to suggest some in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next time.